Welcome to this short presentation of the Runbook for Dynamics AX, or in general just the PowerShell Runbook that is created by us here. Now, the first thing we do is just actually start the Runbook. So this runs as a remote app on server. So basically, this machine that I'm on is not on the server. So it's running as a remote app. It can run from an iPad, whatever can run those remote desktops. So on the server behind the scene, obviously all the tools has to be installed, and obviously also your account has to be valid to run and execute this here. But the runbook itself runs in context of a service account, so all the executions inside the runbook will be service accounts. Now what you can see here is that I'm logged in as me, and I have two environments. So these are configurable. I can add as many environments as I want to. And the two different things about these two environments is actually this little asterisk that you see just behind the number 2. That indicates that this has a security setting that requires me to two-phase authenticate to get in. So that means, so if I push that number 2, it will ask me for an access code of 6 digits, whereas I get 3 and the manager or the administrator get the other 3. So this way you can secure that nobody's doing anything on the environment that you don't want them to do on something on. But let's go into the other one, Smart for You. It's been set up as my demo production environment with a lot of services. And you would know that there's a lot of services, so it's not uncommon that you have 25, 30 services that are reliant on each other in order for the AX application to run properly. So you can configure them in some XML documents. You can configure them, and you can configure the sequence of these services so that when the system stops the services, they stop it in the correct order, and when they start the services, it starts them up in the reverse order. That ensures that typically, if you have a support team or some technical guys that needs to do some patching, whatever on servers, they can stop the whole system correctly. They can do their patching, they can do all their things, and then they can start the whole system again. So that's controlled by this here. Also, if you see down in menu item number 2, the listed services and reset application, what that does, it actually resets the application, deleting the XPILL folder, the services folder, the label files and stuff, so that if you have an AOS server that is kind of not functioning correct, it's possible for you to actually reset that one specific application. And you can do that by setting a filter. So if for instance I want to do something on my AXV-BIS stock server, I'll just say filter 903, and it will filter out that one. And now I can, when I work on this, if I restart this, I'll restart only these machines. Okay, so there's a restart, there's a start, there's a stop, there's also this stop listed service and reset application. Then there's also something called a verified deployment readiness. Basically, when you deploy, it's very important that these XPIL folders are actually deleted. So if you want to make sure that they are that, you can just hit the verify. It will ask the servers if there's any SIL folders and these things are actually deleted. And obviously you can extend that to other servers that you want to. Now in the bottom there's 2 menu items that are important. The S for start a current application and the A for action menu. So let's go to the S first. So S is just a kind of a shortcut for starting up the application in an easy way. You can standard, you can just start it. Advanced will give you an option to start the application in a specific layer. So for instance, if I want to start it up in the COS layer, I hit the COS. Now that means that I'm now prompted for my username and password. And why is that important? Yes, it's important because if you as a supporter is trying to open up the application as somebody else, it would be nice that you want to share a screen session with them, you can log in. They can execute this. They can enter the password, and then you have access as them in the application, and thereby being able to see what they see. That's a very important feature when you do support in an AX application, because typically the support engineers' credentials into AX is kind of always has more or not the same security settings as the end user. So that's one way of getting in. Another way of getting in is actually the specific AOS, and that's important if you want to troubleshoot and investigate one specific AOS server. So the problem is that there can be a lot of AOS servers, and if they're in the cluster, you don't know which AOS server they log on to. But if you need to be able to log on to one specific because it's only one specific AOS server that is having this problem, then you can use this feature. So I want to log into the BizTalk again. I'll hit the sequence number 903. I'll be prompted, and then it will actually open up my AX application. As you can see up in the top on my AXV-bish AOS server. So kind of neat way to get into the system and actually being able to open one specific AOS. So that was some of the basic, common functions. But one of the most important elements of this is the action menu. So what is the action menu? So action menu is a set of XML configurable files where you can add any script, command line, so command batch file or PowerShell script. And most users will use a PowerShell script. So you can add them in here. So you have some functions that you can execute on this environment. So there's a lot of out-of-the-box report deployment, web part deployment, full backup, model store export, maintenance mode, toggling, and many more. I've only set up these like 5 or 6 ones here. But basically, you can set up anything. So if you want to have a batch script that do a specific backup or delete a record in a table or do whatever, then you can add these scripts in here. And the good thing about it, you can now delegate these functions to somebody else than a technical guy. So this means you can have like a environment set up where you have multiple functions that the end user can do. So for instance, one of the examples or one of the out-of-the-box scripts is that you can change the account of the batch user, which is a very important one. There could be also some feature about clearing the cache on one specific AOS server and stuff like that. Things that helps the support team to do some support maintenance on a system without actually having the knowledge of how to do it. So it's very deploying a report on a report server, deploying a web part on a web. So it's pretty easy here. You just hit the menu item. It will kick off that PowerShell script. It will transfer the parameters, and then you can start, doing your deployment. And obviously, based on how advanced you've created these action scripts, you'll get more info and more emails about, what happens. But all the things that I deliver out of the box is obviously very as advanced as possible, and it will send emails. It will do a lot of things for you, so it will tell the user after that this has been done, and so there's actually also a kind of a logging and transaction history into what is going on here. So this is actually just the framework of PowerShell around a lot of application lifecycle management features, and I've added a lot of features in it. There'll be more, no doubt about it. So every time I have a problem, every time I have something that I want to do, I don't want to do the same thing twice. I'll write a script, I'll add it into here so that I have a direct, easy access to it, and I don't even then have to, use some kind of an administrator account. I can just log in with my own normal account, and then this will work. So here you can see I can deploy a report, so I can say, okay, give me one specific report starting with TR star, and it will then deploy that report on the reporting server setup. So it's pretty easy. It's a pretty neat way for you to delegate responsibility to users, end users, support team, whatever, so they don't have to have that administrative access rights. So the report is deployed and everybody is happy. Okay, thank you very much.